This isn't Master Mode. This isn't even a campaign in the workshop. This is just one level. One brutal level. And my journey to beat it. This is Loop Hell. If you're unfamiliar with Master Mode, it's Kaizo Polybridge. I've made a lot of videos on it, go check them out. There's a card. But there's a level above that. Clone Hero has the Soulless charts. Trackmania has the Inhumane tracks. Polybridge has the Asylum levels. Asylum class levels include Pipe Dream, an S-shaped maze that has to be navigated without any hydraulics, Oblivion, the final level in the game stretched to the maximum build height and packed with extra nonsense, and then there's Loop Hell. It's a single dune buggy with moderate stats and 22 ordered checkpoints scattered across the map with no obvious path between them. And I decided it would be fun to play it. Because of how the first 6 checkpoints were structured, it seemed like the simplest way forward was to build a reliable section that I looped over multiple times to grab the checkpoints. This worked well except for 2 small issues. I didn't really have a good way to exit this section as it followed the same path each time, and number 2, the butterfly effect. The basic premise of the butterfly effect is that a small change in the initial conditions can have a massive effect in some part of the system later on. It is much easier to show in a smaller level. In 6-15, Monster Truck Rally, you need to build 2 bridges. These bridges work just fine, and the monster truck makes it across only to break on the first bridge. So in order to make the first bridge stronger, I'm just going to move this joint down. Now the second bridge breaks. Why? Since the limo passed over the first bridge and the first bridge was modified, the way it approached the second bridge was not the same as the last time, so it stopped in a slightly different spot that just so happened to cause it to break. So anytime any material is added or changed, the outcome of the simulation can change. So to solve this one break that happens in the first loop, it screwed up every subsequent loop. I changed tactics. I was going to make a dedicated route for everything. Thinking ahead, I left myself a small gap after checkpoint number 1 so I could go back from 15 to 16. The gap was 1.25 meters tall, the car is 1.1 meters tall. It'll be fine. The first loop can't possibly come back to bite me in the future, but after 3 or 4 hours of streaming and the first 6 checkpoints gotten, I was ready to call it a day. Future me could handle the next checkpoints. We've got the next 6 checkpoints! Picking back up from where we left off at checkpoint 6, I was smart and left myself a few holes here and here. So I could go from 17 to 18 to 19. To get out of the deep pit I put myself into, we loop our way up and out to checkpoint 9, only to head back down to the depths of the map again for checkpoint 11, and then up again to 12, which is behind the flag. Next up is 13 and 14 and oh no. I have road in the way between 13 and 14. Forgot to leave a gap, and there's no way in! There, now there's 2 holes in the loops. Let's roll back to checkpoint 6. Those new holes are now here, and here. The rest of the bridge kinda works, but falls apart at checkpoint 11. If I could stick the landing at checkpoint 11 without shattering the bridge, the next stage is to loop my way over to get to checkpoint 13. But that's as much as I could take for one day and I went to bed. are on to checkpoint 15 now. Let's catch up to that and start at checkpoint 9. I finally figured out how to get checkpoint 11 without smashing the bridge apart. And I know how to make a loop with most of the loop missing. But now the problem is getting to checkpoint 15. It's inside the starting area, and I figured I would have enough room to just drive down at a pretty shallow angle to snag 15 and pop in the hole to get 16. There's just one problem. The buggy is too fast. I couldn't get the speed right on this jump, so with much dismay, I went and disturbed the hornet's nest, butterfly hive, it doesn't matter. I started taunting the butterfly effect by going and punching holes in my first loop. Something very interesting happened when I did this. The butterfly effect didn't deviate as far as I'd expected. I had inadvertently found a way to control the butterfly effect. In a sense. My entire structure was secretly multiple smaller disconnected structures and was built on grid. For the most part, if I needed to smooth out a curve somewhere to make a jump work, I went off grid for it. This meant that only a few jumps needed a slight tweak off grid to work again, and those tweaks only affected the smaller section they were attached to rather than the entire level. Additionally, I was keeping the car at full speed for nearly the entire course. Nearly all the jumps were made at full speed, or the jump began with the car traveling at full speed, so it didn't matter how many butterflies I angered and how many of them came in to flap their wings at me. I had enough lead up for all my jumps that I could just ignore it for the most part. At the end of the day, I was no match for those butterflies, and I ended the day with a very robust path, checkpoint 16, and went to bed. I'm putting in 4 hours on stream every single time I do this. It's exhausting. Past me is not very good at thinking ahead. Let's resume at checkpoint 12 and you'll see. I had to go and punch another hole in my loop. It's right here. Thankfully, I'm going quite fast, so I can still make the original jump, and I really didn't think much further ahead than that. So for checkpoint 17, I ended up skidding on my head to slow down and flip over. After that, it's a straight shot down to 18 and 19, where we loop our way back up and out to 20 and 21. All that's left is 22. This took 4 hours as well, so I called it a night and vowed to beat this level the following day. I had a dumb idea in the shower that night. I had a really dumb idea. It was such a smart and dumb idea. I was going to intentionally trigger the butterfly effect. Let's resume at checkpoint 19. I don't have nearly enough speed to get out of this pit, so I'm going to reuse the track at checkpoint 12. I'll be going slightly slower than my first pass, so my trajectory on the big jump will be slightly shorter. All I need to do is build a catch near checkpoint 22 that doesn't intersect with my jump from the first go-around. That was easy. Clocking in at an approximate $3.2 million, I got this unbreaking solve. And it's a mess. Let's end this right here and start from the beginning. Thankfully, I have mods installed, specifically the wider materials mod and camera mod, so I can just hide all this steel and sweep the ugly triangles under the rug and get up nice and personal with this car so we can watch this guy go at 50% speed, because otherwise it's way too fast and the game lags ridiculously hard. Anyways, while this is playing back, I'm going to let you in on some channel updates. I've been doing a lot of traveling for work. Literally, in the past 2 months, I've spent more time out on travel than I did working in my local office. I now get free upgrades to the nice cars, free king-size snacks from the hotel, and free upgrades to first class, but that much traveling really can wear you down. This was a fun video. A short video. Master Mode takes a lot of time in planning, The playing is the fun and easy and short part. What comes after feels like work. And after working long hours away on travel, all I really want to do when I get home is as little work as possible. And maybe catch up on whatever crazy shit the rest of the Polybridge community has gotten up to. Fucking Reed Captain built a goddamn transmission into this game. Anyways, Master Mode is still on the table, but I've always wanted to try out a different format in Polybridge, where the focus is more on like 1 or 2 levels rather than a sprawling campaign. Because those videos take a lot of time to work on, and I'm just one guy. Anyways, thanks for listening to my rant. Thank you for watching this video. I'm gonna leave you guys off with the first-person view of this car going through this loop hell. Anyways, you've been watching The Lazy Comet, and I hope you'll keep me in your orbit.